Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to continue to have a look at the heat wave that we are within now. Day 2 of this heat wave, temperatures widely into the high 20s, locally now into the 30s, and it's only going to get hotter in the next day or two, with the peak coming around Wednesday through to Friday time of around 30 to 32 degrees for large areas, maybe locally 33 or 34. We have seen more upgrades from the runs in the past 24 hours, not in terms of severity of this heat wave, but in lengthening the most severe point. A few days ago, we thought perhaps Wednesday, Thursday we'd see the peak, and it would slowly peter off into the weekend, back into the mid-20s. But now it's looking quite likely that much of England, especially in the south and the east, could hold on to the low 30s all the way until Sunday, maybe even Monday, with most models agreeing through Monday, Tuesday time we will see cooler air move back in. So it is looking continually very hot over the coming days, record-breaking upper air temperatures, and by all means, if this pattern had happened in the midst of the summer season, we would be talking potentially about record-breaking surface temperatures, with temperatures likely in the high 30s or even into the 40s, with this sort of persistent hot air that we have coming up from the south. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in description. So do start on the live radar, we'll have a look at this, and then we'll go over to net weather and see what the latest observations are for the temperatures today. So you can see it's another widely very sunny and very hot day. A few thunderstorms breaking out across the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, and there is the risk of that over the next few days. UKV still showing a few storms in places, but nothing too severe at this point. Again, we'll have to continue to monitor that, but that hasn't really increased in severity or in widespread nature yet, but things could still change. Now, I've got this around 4:30, so the temperatures are starting to dip a bit, but by gosh, it has felt hot today. Even hotter than it felt yesterday, and we've seen that reflected on the surface temperatures, but with most areas about a degree or two higher than it was yesterday. It really does feel like we're out in the Mediterranean, and many people would probably be thinking, it's 28, 29, 30 degrees, but it feels even hotter, and that is because the air mass that we are experiencing is a ridiculously hot air mass. It's just in early September, the sun strength isn't quite there to sort of get the full potential of that air mass. Again, as I said at the start of the video, if this air mass had fallen in sort of July time, with this sort of 5 or 6 days of the sort of high teens, low 20 degree at 850 HPA, we would likely be widely in the high 30s, if not locally seeing consecutive 40 plus degree days. But luckily we're not seeing that at the moment, but it is still feeling insanely hot. We can put the temperature graph on. As I said, 4:30, you can see still very hot through much of England, Wales, into Scotland, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Of course, the heat wave is going to be most intense in the south, where we are closest to the origins of that heat, which is all the way down to North Africa. And you can see the track it's taking through the Mediterranean, the central Med here, up through France towards the UK, with parts of central and northern France even hotter than us, into the mid-30s at the moment. And it's, as I said, it's only going to get hotter over the coming days. Now, if we go over to net weather, you can see today's maximum temperatures widely 29 to 30 degrees. Now, of course, this is not all the weather stations or official weather stations that report, but these are the highest ones that net weather have access to. For example, yesterday, net weather showed one station getting to 30 degrees. Officially, the Met Office put out the stats that we got to 30.2 degrees somewhere. So we'll likely see this evening that we'll probably be slightly higher than this. I have seen some reports from some personal weather stations, so non-official, and of course we'll have a higher degree of uncertainty of seeing some local 31s or 32s around the London area. But at this stage, we're not seeing that on any major reliable weather stations at this stage. So we'll have to just see later for the official top temperature, but most areas are about a degree or two hotter than yesterday, with 25 stations here, 29 degrees or above. Now, if you go over to the UKV, we'll be able to look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. You can see a few showers breaking out, but nothing too severe through this afternoon. As we head into tomorrow, a bit of fog perhaps in the east, with a bit of an easterly breeze coming in off the North Sea, but yet nothing too severe. Most of that cloud will break away by the afternoon. Into Wednesday, no showers, but again could see a few pop off further in the west. And then finally, as we head into Thursday, could see some more showers break out across Northern Ireland, maybe the Republic of Ireland, through the early hours of Thursday morning. And as we head into the afternoon, we could also see more activity, especially around the Irish Sea coast, through the evening into Scotland. A few heavy thundery showers, but again, nothing too organised and not looking too severe at this stage. But as I said, things still have time to change. Into Friday, another very hot sunny day, almost no showers around. And into Saturday, some heavy thunderstorms breaking out across northern Wales into the northwest of England. They're very localised, popping off almost instantaneously overnight into Saturday before dissipating again. And again, could be a few heavy thundery showers around Saturday, maybe into Sunday as well, as we start to see low pressure push in from the west. You can see that if we put on the pressure, you can see low pressure starting to come in from the west here. And you can see the Cape levels are starting to rise as we've got very hot and humid air engaging with instability. But the one consistency of the next 5 days is insanely hot air masses. Now, the air mass is pretty much peaking as I speak around the 20 to 22 degree mark, but it's going to hold for the next sort of 3 or 4 days. You can see that 20 degree isotherm continues to flirt with the southeast through much of tomorrow, through Thursday, and just about maybe hangs on for some into the weekend as well, through Friday and Saturday, before slowly gets edged away through Sunday. But we still got enough heat around at the surface to still keep it a very hot day through Sunday, maybe even Monday as well. If you put on those max temperatures, you can see today, widely, we're looking at the mid to high 20s. Look at that, locally 28 to 30 degrees in central southern England. And assault by those statistics on net weather, probably slightly higher than the UKV showing, with temperatures more towards the high sort of 29, 30 degrees, maybe 31, 32. We've seen in a few local weather stations. And if we look to Wednesday, it's going to be even higher with more 30 to 32 degrees. So again, locally could see a 33 or 34. Very similar to Thursday, and that bullseye area of those temperatures moves slightly further northwards and westwards for parts of the Midlands, 30 to 32 degrees once again. Then finally Friday, again widely 30 to 31 degrees, again locally 32 or 33, and then into Saturday again could be even hotter with more 31s and 32s showing here. So the upper air temperatures do start to slowly drop over the next 3 or 4 days, very subtly, but because it's still very hot and we've got that heat building at the surface, the hottest day, can't really pinpoint it at this stage. It could be pretty much Wednesday all the way to Saturday, maybe Sunday time has the risk of having the hottest temperatures. Looks at this stage, pretty much every day the top temperature will be around that 32 degree mark, maybe even slightly higher at 33 or 34 degrees, which is insane for early September. Now, it does look like we won't be breaking the September all-time temperature record, which is 35.6 degrees. We are about, I'd normally, when I have a look at the UKV temperatures, I'd say if we're within about a degree or two of the temperature record, I'd say there is a chance. So we'd have to be seeing sort of 33s, 34s on here to have a chance, but we're seeing 31s and 32s. So I don't think there is a chance of seeing a localised breaking of that all-time temperature record for September. But certainly, this is going to be one of these heat waves that we will remember for many years to come for a September heat wave. And as I said, if this had fallen in the summer months, in mid-July, we would be talking about these temperatures being perhaps 5 degrees higher widely. And we could, as I said, get maybe even towards 40 degree mark. So if you have a look at the latest GFS to see what we have in store for the next couple of weeks, you can see these southerly winds that are pushing in at the moment. Extremely hot air getting drawn up all the way from North Africa. Now, it's this low out in the west that you'd think would start to give some thunderstorms, but it doesn't really move in, and actually is really only impacting parts of Iberia. Eventually, though, the energy associated with that low will move in, but that's what we're expecting in around a week's time. So we do run through over the coming days, the southerly winds continue and that low doesn't move. Eventually, towards the weekend, we see some lows trying to build to our north and our west, but the high pressure holds on. We see pretty slack winds, and that slack winds will just mean that hot air that we have that is getting drawn up in the next couple of days, or at the moment really, just stays here all the way until about Monday, Tuesday time, where eventually low pressure gathers along the jet stream and pushes in, giving us more of a westerly flow all the way to the end of this run. Longer term, high pressure does try to build in, but you can see the hot air is withdrawn well to our south, so it would be more of a warmer, autumnal, drier pattern instead of anything summery. I won't have a look at the 2 meter temperatures on the longer runs today, as it will probably make the videos a bit too long, but we are now within the heat waves. There's not going to be too much discrepancy. They're all going to agree mostly on those top temperatures of around 32, 33, maybe a local 34. But you can see the upper air temperatures continuing to be 15 to 20 degrees all the way to Sunday before getting slowly swept away overnight Monday into Tuesday. But even Tuesday afternoon, we could just about hang on to that heat in the southeast. But I do want to have a look at those temperature deviations. You can see why we're seeing this ridiculous temperatures. Look at that, 12 degrees above average for much of northern France, Netherlands, Belgium, and for much of England and Wales. Ridiculous heat we're seeing at the moment, and we'll continue to see through to the end of the weekend. Now, if you compare to the GM, see what that has over the next 10 days. The southerly wind continues to push in. Low pressure eventually gathers in the Atlantic and makes a successful push Monday into Tuesday again. Maybe more Monday afternoon for western regions, or even Sunday evening before all areas as we head into the middle of next week. Still doesn't look likely to go into a massive stormy spell like you potentially think with a flattening of the westerlies. Still could be some ridges of higher pressure, but similar to the GFS, the hot air is well retreated to our south. It's going to be oscillating between sort of above average, slightly above average, and slightly below average. And you can see here the hottest air gets removed probably around Monday afternoon in the east, so probably the last day of widespread heat here would probably be Sunday, or definitely Saturday, probably Sunday, maybe just not the far north and west. Now, if you finish by looking at the ECMWF operational run, again, southerly winds pushing in, and eventually, as we head towards Monday time, we see low pressure move in, and this looks like more of a Monday-Tuesday thing, but quite a severe low moves in there, so that could mean some big thunderstorms. But look at that, a much fresher air mass, almost 20 degrees cooler than what we're seeing right now, pushing in from the west. And you can see the hottest air moves away Monday evening into Tuesday, so probably a widespread hot day there on Monday. But you can see the low pressure building, probably would be seeing quite a few thunderstorms, and that's what you can see here, some widespread heavy rain, so Monday could be quite a thundery day. So from the looks of this, it does look like we're going to have widespread heat wave conditions for the next 5 days. Definitely into Saturday. Sunday, still going to be heat wave conditions for many, but could be a few more showers and cloud. Monday could still be heat wave conditions, likely to still be very hot, even if it's not quite heat wave conditions, but there is looking like quite a strong risk now of showers and thunderstorms moving in as we start to see that transition at some point on Monday before the transition is completed from most of the runs into Tuesday, where much fresher conditions moving in. Probably will still be only a slight slow, will be quite a slow descent to average temperatures again, as the heat, because it's been at the surface for so long, will likely sort of maintain some of its strength into maybe Tuesday, Wednesday time, maybe still mid-20s, but nowhere near as oppressive as it is right now. And if you finish by looking at the ensemble's latest GFS, you can see hovering around the high teens or even 20 degrees at 850 HPA, all the way to the 10th or 11th for London. So that is looking at Saturday, Sunday, maybe even into Monday before we do see that drop off from sort of Monday through to Wednesday time, back towards average, but still most ensemble members actually a couple of degrees above average. Precipitation picks up, but not massively, so it probably will be showers and storms, convective potential definitely next week, but at this stage not expecting anything crazy. We'll just have to keep a very close eye on it. 2 meter temperatures looking insanely hot. Look at that, all the way until sort of Monday time. We're still looking at high 20s or even 30 degrees, so you can see here Wednesday insanely hot, Thursday very hot, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday very hot for London here, before the drop off really comes on Tuesday, but even then still 25 degrees from the majority of runs. The last thing to look at is the dew point. Look how humid it's going to be, mid-teens widely for the next 5 or 6 days, which will just exacerbate the feel-like temperature. And of course, these are low resolution ensemble members. The UKV is showing dew points more around the high teens, maybe even touching 20 degrees in a few localised areas, again making it feel like we're in the Med or the tropics. Finally, finish up by having a look at the ECMWF, and it is broadly very similar. Perhaps a bit more of a drop-off through the weekend to Monday, maybe more looking at 16, 17 degrees at 850 HPA instead of sort of 18, 19 degrees. I mean, it's a couple of degrees difference. Maybe we'll stop it being 31, 32 on Saturday, Sunday, and more likely 29, 30. But again, we'll decide that near the weekend. For most people, won't make much of a difference. It will still feel very hot. Big drop off to early next week, and we're back down to around average or slightly above, but a lot of precipitation shown here around that 11th to 13th of September point. So around next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time could be really lively indeed. But since it's still a week away, we can't look at it too much detail as things are still changing. But the headline is heatwave conditions to last for at least the next 5 days, widely through to Saturday and Sunday, before it does slowly dissipate on Monday and Tuesday, but it still could be quite hot in some locations, just not a widespread event. And of course, with the sweeping away of this heat wave, we could see some severe thunderstorms and some very lively conditions, but at this stage, as I said, we won't look at those in detail as there is still too much uncertainty. But anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you enjoy the next sort of 5 days or so, maybe even 6 or 7 if you're lucky in the east. As of course we are into September now. This is an exceptional heat wave, but give it 4, 5, 6 weeks. We'll be looking at the first rumblings of cold northerly winds, probably, maybe even a frost into October for northern areas. So we are, very close to descending back towards autumn and winter conditions. So do make the best of the next 5 days. And of course, do stay safe, stay hydrated, do stay safe out in the sun, even though it isn't too strong compared to sort of midsummer time. Do stay safe out there. Because, of course, there is a heat health alert warning, and I haven't gone into that in too much detail. It's a UK Health Security Agency amber warning, but we see them regularly for these sort of low 30s heat waves. So there is a risk to health, so please do stay safe out there. And of course, I'll see you for another video soon. We'll continue to look at the heat wave and the risk of storms next week.